It is ECS Season 4. We're coming at you live from Santa Monica. We have match 2 of the European segment. Virtus Pro once again. ENVYUS once again. VP stealing away Nuke. It seemed like ENVYUS they had it in the bag, it felt like. Such a good CT side, but now it's down to Inferno. And already a good start here from Sixer. Taking down Snacks, trying to bully their way past these choke points into that B-bomb site. And they will be so far successful. Taz, though, oh, he gets the collateral there. Lovely stuff there from Taz. Bialy at the back of the bomb site. VP, they wanted it all along into this B-bomb site, and they will prevent, or it seems to be that they have a good chance to prevent this bomb from even being planted. Smokes there to cover. But ENVYUS are looking for the frags. Oh, so close there. Happy diving into Taz. And the taps there for Pasha. That is brilliant stuff there. A bloodbath from both teams right there on the B-bomb side. Just going absolutely ham here. Such a fast rotation. Again, VP seemingly expecting this one, but it all comes down to those headshots at the end of the day. Or the end of the round, I should say. And this is the ENVYUS special. We saw them on this map yesterday. Like, they really enjoy these 5 Mac 10s. I don't think any other team does this. Not that I have watched, at least. And again, you can really get a lot of... You can move very quickly together as a unit. Normally, the idea is the Mac 10s push forwards. They create space. Then the AKs have occupy that space, and they can start firing off from that space. But if you have 5 Mac 10s, it's basically a charge all the way. There are some helmets to worry about, but only on 2 of the remaining 4 players. And ENVYUS are initially after going for that pressure towards A, switching things up. They want to hit into B. And Bialy, he's really going to have some problems here. He does not have a helmet either. He is alone. He alone.
Nice from Happy. Really pulls the rotation though. Perhaps not gets taken down. Some flashbangs, there are no more Molotovs left for the NV side, and they're still going slow after that flashbang, so Bialy will see everything and get a kill. Could have got a second one there, but didn't ultimately. Neo and Pasha remain. Oh my god, Neo, what is that? The smoke down towards Banana as well, and here is a flash through the smoke, but Scream Herder being primed, he manages to avoid it, and that will take Neo down. Pasha, last man standing, Mac 10, but maybe pulls out the Deagle bottom Banana because of the range. Maybe not. Seems he's going to just play on the exits. I think it's a smart decision from him, trying to make the best out of the situation. I'm still not a fan of 5 Mac 10s because I think it gives you range issues. But also the timing was off on their push into B because they threw flashbangs deep into oranges and then were delayed moving behind them.
I mean, one thing you can say again, like if we see the score, we won't have time to see the score, but before the money is awarded them, but they don't, with the 5 Mac 10s, one thing that happens is they don't actually end up spending all of their money, which is really good. And I think a lot of teams, they tend to, in a lot of these rounds, they overbuy utility for the round that they should have planned, if you know what I mean. And so there's that kind of a leak in the economy there. But because they go so heavy on the Mac 10s, each player that buys a Mac 10 is actually banking some money there because they're not buying another weapon. So even though they lose some more players, typically with it, I think economically it looks worse than it is. So I think it's cool. I mean, they're doing their own thing too. Like, no one else is doing it. I don't know if that's, for a reason, because it sucks.
Not really an argument.
Because it sucks, but it, obviously they found some success with it. And I think there are definitely spots where you can make it make sense.
I'm not concerned with the economy choices. It's just the Mac 10, because of the spray, it's really terrible at longer ranges. So, depending on what you're trying to achieve, I think you need a better ranged weapon. Something with more controllable spray at the very least, or bursting, like a UMP or a Galil.
I think the other idea as well, I think, behind it is the fact that, okay, you have... If you give it away, you don't care about giving away Mac 10 because it's so cheap and it's so ineffectual. But also at the same time, like, if things do go well, you actually make... You will make the maximum amount of money possible instead of having... it's sold away by players with rifles in their team.
Yep. So
there is... It would surprise me if they have done the math behind it or something, because definitely there is some numbers to be crunched there. But don't only carry on with 2 Mac 10s here. There's only 1 player without a helmet. Look at the utility. VP have nothing on the utility. That's really bad for them. Oh no!
Bialy unable to escape. Carpet bombs towards the B bomb site. It's a really late Molotov. I don't know. I mean, smoke. Will it stop these players from charging in? It absolutely won't. Way too close quarter. Snack splashing his way in. More flames. He's got to get out there, but the spray will be too great. And 2 versus 4. I don't know if he needs to continue pushing, but Pasha just trying to use attack as the best form of defense. I don't know if the kill cam would have seen him rotating away. But that's a 4th round for Team Envy. So far, so good.
Yep, it's definitely looking pretty good for them. I do like how they were pretty quick to just get a set piece onto the B site. And the next round will be interesting just because obviously they will hang on to a couple guns. ENVYUS will know this, and they'll know that one of them is an AWP. So I would imagine that RPK and Scream are going to buy up MAC-10s because they love MAC-10s so much. And we'll see them try to run an anti-eco type round.
One thing we don't see as much as we used to is the CT dropping a smoke inside the site in the front of the fountain and trying to play around that. Because once the T's are around that corner, bearing in mind the time from when you throw a smoke to the time where a smoke's going to go off, especially at close quarters, the T's I think are very likely to charge through it. Although, I mean, the situation wasn't ideal with I think it was Bialy who was going down in the flames and how quickly things happen, but I do think we will eventually see more of those right-click dropped smokes in front of the site. Still used to do it for iBuyPower a lot. He was noticeable. The only example I can think of, I did see one player do it recently, but I don't recall who it was. But by no means is it prevalent even for that particular player. So that's something I'd like to see more of from CT sides as Inferno continues to develop. Still a new iteration of this map here.
And he's just putting some pressure here on the Abs. Bomb not committed, they haven't got Banana. And one of the reasons why I want to see a MAC-10 or 2 from them is just because, again, like they know that there's no money for VP, that VP did save some guns. At the worst case, VP force sport with those guns, and they have Kevlars with these pistols. And so I think a set piece execution is definitely warranted, and I think the MAC-10s would actually provide a lot of space there, even if you run into the AWP. But so they've gone with the 5 AKs, which is also very good. We'll see how this works out as they attack onto this B-bomb site. 3 players are here for VP. Perhaps not for too much longer. This is looking good for ENVYUS. Bomb will go down safely. And VP looking likely to save, I would imagine, the AWP at the very least. Whereas Mr. Pasha, he's in construction. Oh, he's in construction. Okay, I thought he was.
But he's got snacks to try and help him, so he can use that smoke to run away. Wild sprays and harassment from the T side. Pasha just doesn't want to stay there too long. Do not outstay your welcome, sir. Hold on to that AWP. You see Taz is not having any of this. He is towards top mid at the moment, and indeed, Happy is looking for these players. Pasha, I mean, in fairness, that is a very strong angle for an AWP to just stand there. If somebody runs around a corner, it's going to be extremely, extremely hard for them to kill you. But if there's 2 of them, then you're going down. But there is snacks for support, so VP have prepared for that eventuality. Doesn't arise on this occasion. 5-0 is the score now, which means Virtus Pro are at maximum loss bonus, 3,400 for every round they lose. But they won't want to lose any more rounds.
I wonder if they'll take an aggression somewhere, or if they'll just rely on their subs. I think relying on just playing some good Inferno CT size should be sufficient. Pasha will go for the peek there, though. Again, you can note that his angle is... Oh, actually, he goes for the full peek. This does carry a lot of risk, and you can see why. Happy finding a blind spot there onto Pasha, and that's not the only issue there. If your opponent is actually just AWPing, it's quite likely that an AWPer could hold that angle just to keep you honest if you do go for an aggression. And so Pasha, getting nothing here allows ENVYUS to take top middle pretty freely, and VP, they're in a really desperate spot at the moment.
It's interesting, though, that Happy chose to go from second mid through the crawl space into that position, which I don't recall seeing before, which doesn't mean it's new, but normally T's just jump into the pit from mid, so I don't think that Pasha was expecting that. And that might be a straight counterplay, who knows. The trades continue on the A site, and Taz is now alone. We've seen him alone in many situations on the previous map. It continues now. He's spotted the bomb. Needs to buy time for his team. Killing players is a good way to do that. Running out of bullets, though, leaving RPK in a 1 versus 2. Neo creeping through the smoke, or maybe not. Was in two minds about it, waiting for his teammate to rotate. They will try to play the crossfire. Bali has an opportunity to take the high ground. They know roughly where RPK could be. Neo may just be spotted trying to pepper with bullets. Oh dear, somebody walked onto a grenade and gave the position away. RPK now only Neo to find, sees him around the boxes and takes him down, makes it look easy. 6-0 Envy.
RPK, man. He is good at Counter-Strike. I still feel like he's the best player of ENVYUS in many respects. I mean, the highs and lows for some of the ENVYUS players are there. You know, like Sixer, he can have some good highs. Scream has, you know, insane highs, as does Happy, but I feel like RPK is the most consistently good of the team. So it's always fun to watch him play. And also interesting to note his history. And speaking of the MAC-10s, once again, we do have one purchased onto Sixer, so this could indicate the type of round expected, or that we should expect from ENVYUS. Now, I'm not sure at this point, it's a bit early to tell as to whether they'll go A or B. They have no development of banana control. And this is where VP could, in the future rounds, maybe start to punish ENVYUS if they notice that they just don't do anything on banana. We saw that these smokes go down, like quite high up on banana. But there's no reason why you shouldn't test that every so often.
No answer to that kill for Versus Pro. Taz is repositioned to the graveyard area. Information is limited. A third man rotating towards A for Virtus Pro as Envy stack around a short site. The numbers game is real. Pasha trying to reposition, trying to hide with the chickens, but he's going to be exposed and taken down. No answer to any of these kills by Virtus Pro. They are getting wrecked, torn to pieces, limb from limb. Looking good for that 7-0. Virtus Pro still looking for their first round in this match, and maybe Envy are keen on revenge for having their clean sheet taken away.
They're playing some really good Counter-Strike here, honestly. I mean, of course they get that early pick, which is always useful, and then they're sort of poised already to just go into A because they had so many players towards that position. They didn't go deep on banana just yet, and I think that was always the plan. But the kill certainly made it easier, and having the MAC-10 makes it even easier still because you just have that first guy that can just move quickly, provide that covering or that suppressing fire almost as he's moving forwards, creating space for his teammates, and it's somewhat expendable. It's always useful. And it's 7-0 now, and I do feel like VP have to test banana more. I feel like I'm not sure if it's them smoking top banana or if it is actually the T's. Because it can play in the favor of both, depending on both sides, depending on what you're trying to do.
Envy, I think it was Envy who smoked the top of banana on the T side.
Yeah.
To stop the CTs being able to fully take banana themselves, or forcing them to isolate themselves through that smoke.
And it's Godsent they were playing yesterday, right? I think it was Godsent. Yes, it was FaZe Heroic, and then Godsent and ENVYUS, I think. And I think Godsent started pushing, they started to realize, and then they just started pushing it and being like, whoa, there's no one here. And then they kept pushing it like round after round after round. I think, or maybe it was in the North American matches. Either way, that is definitely something that you should do at some point. So that's, was that CT smoke?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Will they try to push it in the following rounds when they have guns? I look forward to seeing whether they will or not. But this is an anti-eco from ENVYUS. Happy is just going to go out on a limb here. He's found himself a way to get into the A side. Oh, wow. They will not... Oh, they're actually looking for it, but he gets dinked. Happy, able to survive, but not for too much longer.
A rifle has been collected by Virtus Pro. And they are rotating the numbers immediately towards the B bomb site. And that is where Envy are currently headed. You can often find this from an ecoing side or a side with maybe one real weapon. Never force fire around it. Bardi trying to push through the smoke, can't quite do it, but AK is in play again. Briefly, last two CTs remaining. Neo's up close, he really missed that smoke. Trying to isolate players from banana, trying to give himself a path into the site, but he missed. That leaves Snacks to get picked off, and that means they know where Neo is because he boosted him, so his chances are very, very slim. Sixer continues to deliver. And that's good to see as well. 8 kills for him so far, 8-0 in favor of Envy. The full buys continue for Virtus Pro. Again, they are at maximum loss bonus. Double sniper rifles now. But will it be enough?
Right, so this is it. Okay, double or I would be surprised if they get too aggressive with this. On Banana here is a wayward player, a couple players here from ENVYUS looking to go for the challenges, using the utility to just get rid of these VP players who were very close. This is brilliant stuff from ENVYUS. It looks like they want to go hard into B. This is quite cool actually to just switch up the pace, go very explosively in this timing where VP will not feel confident to go for info plays towards the A side of the map. So there is this window for them to attack, and here it is.
Flashes on both sides of the site. The smoke just about saving Snacks, but surely he won't last long. No, the sprays will do the job there. Bali in absolute no man's land, but Pasha delivers a kill through the smoke, moving into construction. 3 on 3, he would do well to hold this position for his teammates while the rotation comes in. All from CT, the remainder of Virtus Pro. Taz, the last man to join these players. XMS has a smoke, which he will soon deploy. But look at the utility on Virtus Pro. They've got Molotovs, flashes, and grenades.
How do they get in, though? I mean, the up onto Pasha makes his life a bit more awkward. There is we're getting the Molotovs into the back of the bomb site. Oh, that's actually a miss. I think it wanted to be deep into the dark position where RPK is, but instead XMS taking down players as they emerge from CT spawn, holding down the pull position. Pasha using grenades here. Oh, it has to be the no-scope, gets the leg, the jump, good, but actually the USP to finish him, but still the trade is there, and RPK will survive the round claimed by ENVYUS. A 9-0 for them. And again, I do love that they decided that that was a good moment to go for that fast hit onto B and to sort of disallow the AWPs to really work for the CT side in that sense.
Virtus Pro towards Banana are allowing Envy to just run up behind that wall and literally bounce grenades off the balcony above it. And it's very obvious what they're doing in that situation. It's not like it's not a pop flash. It's like, I'm going to throw this off the ceiling. So, I mean, one option is to pick an auto sniper instead of an AWP and just spam that panel, and that stops them from advancing up Banana for free as well. Or even just shoot it with the AWP, and you could have the rifler supporting the sniper being slightly wider in case there is a push beyond, but he would be vulnerable to flashbangs in that situation. But either or, I think there's more they could do than just allowing Envy to force them off their angles like that with such simple grenades.
I definitely think that you're right. I think people do tend to shy away from the auto sniper just because it's, one, it's really expensive, and two, you feel like you get beaten out by an AWP. But I mean, we've seen it time and time again be very effective. I mean, it's a very good gun, and it's very effective on the B-bomb side. If you're actually able to, fall all the way towards the back, especially with all the smokes that go down, it's just really good towards that site, and we just never really see it. So it'll be cool to see the adjustment. But they made the adjustment that they are probably more likely to make is to send 3 to Banana at the start of the round, and sort of bombard the Banana area with their own utility to try to actually win that position first, and then rotate the third man back. So let's see if that's the adjustment. 1 frag for Stacks so far. Don't like to call people out on stats, but I'm only doing so to say he's not having a good time.
Yeah, I mean, on a CT side, it depends on where you're playing as well. We had a match yesterday where the B players on a North American match, it was 2 versus X every single round. Their teammates were getting wrecked, and there's only so much you can do, just trying to stay alive.
So they did go with 3 at the start, but then they cycle them back really fast. So they did make the adjustment, James, but they're still getting wrecked for the smoke.
Yeah, that was unfortunate for Bayali. Taz has support from Snacks, who is on the CT side, and the smoke is down. The smoke is much earlier. Envy not committing behind that kill. They're going to use the clock. Oh,
man. VP invested so much in taking Banana, but then they just lost it immediately. Neo doing such damage as they go in towards the quad position. A 4-man push from this spot. Pasha, good for 1, but the trade's there from Happy. Still a chance here for the VP side, as they are, even on numbers now, superior on numbers.
Flashbang bounces off the balcony, catches the player towards Library. Scream planting the bomb for his teammate. They can crossfire, but Scream is heavily tagged. Happy trying to do what he can to take down the player towards short, 2 towards long as well. Scream is in a precarious position, trying to look towards the balcony. Does he try and push the smoke? He's got to be careful, taking some chances here and there, but this is very awkward for the T side, doing their best to stay this crossfire. Happy going for the full spray, not quite getting the kill though. Scream has much to do, going for the taps. He's got one more. Neo's in the red as well. He can do this, and he will. Very unlikely clutch by Scream. That is ridiculous.
Oh man, VP can't catch a break. Did a good attempt there at winning this round. Oh, Happy just going down, and then Scream. Beast mode, engaged. The 3K, the clutch, the 11th round for ENVYUS, sending VP further into the doldrums. And are they even going to get around at this point? There's not too many more chances. They have very limited utility here. ENVYUS are just such an interesting team to me. Because it's so hard to predict them. They're doing a lot of stuff that's obviously very good. And my faith is being restored slowly but surely. I've definitely been fairly critical of them in the past, as have many pundits, I suppose. But they've certainly been working hard and are getting some of the results of that. Here comes the push into top mids. Snacks getting a kill though, and Taz on the barrel looking to find a good timing. Maybe a flash from a teammate could be money, but he will back away to the site.
There's a big focus on A here for the CT side. We have a nice setup, but they could both get flashed in this situation. No, neither of them will get flashed. Instant trade, but Pasha will eventually go down as well. There is a third player there for the CT side, but the CTs are losing map control everywhere, leaving Snacks alone versus the bomb carrier, but he can't do it. He just can't do it. 12-0 Envy.
4K from Sixer there. That was a very drawn out and laborious round for ENVYUS, but they managed to take it over the line. And VP still struggling to do anything so far. Obviously, they've had some close rounds here or there, but it just seems like ENVYUS are having a great T-side. Their game plan is working out. VP could not address the issues on Banana.
I hope that Envy don't get sloppy here, because a lot of teams in Envy's position right now will start to get sloppy, start to try and disrespect their opponent and give up rounds for free. And all that could do is, I mean, there is a psychological factor, but there is also a psychological factor anyway. When it's 12-0, so you don't necessarily need to do more than that when they're not experiencing any success. But it's important that Envy stay focused and don't give any edges away to their opponents. Don't let them have anything in this game, and that's so far so good. Pasha facing 3 people at the same time. What can Neo really do in this situation? Gets himself 1 kill for his troubles, but here comes Sixer. And there is Sixer again, leaving nothing to chance. 13-0 for Envy.
Yeah, I really like it when teams, they sort of always have that focus. They just like don't think about the score. They're just doing what they know that objectively this is how we should play. And there's time to have fun, and then there's time to crush your opponent, and to habituate that mentality of just all situations, just crushing your opponent. I think there's a lot to be said for that. So, pistols for VP. 16 zeros are very rare. Very rare in Counter-Strike Global Offensive in the professional scene. But ENVYUS are close, James. They are close now. They should win this round. This will be number 14. VP yet to do anything. They've got pistols in this round. Has a good position, but the flashbang is absolutely perfect there from ENVYUS.
That was literally absolutely perfect.
That was so
it was
perfect.
The timing was unreal.
That is, oh, it's so satisfying to see that. Oh man, it's so interesting. You know, we've been casting Counter-Strike for a long time now and watching it for a long time, and these details are much more proliferated than they used to be. I feel like in the past it's much rarer to see these perfect flashbangs, these small details, because that's a situation where maybe a team would get complacent.
It's very satisfying to see that. One of actually, it's like for me, it's one of the most satisfying things. Such a simple thing, but.
Do you know what that's like, James? It's like when you're playing Tetris, and you have that long piece. It's like the 4 square long piece,
Yeah.
and you're about to fit it into the perfect spot, and then just like eliminate 4 rows. That's what that was like. Satisfaction.
I find satisfaction elsewhere, but I can see where you're going with that. I can see where you're going with that. That's cool. I'm more Scrabble than Tetris, but it's all good.
Scrabble's pretty good. Scrabble's legit. I reckon I would wreck you at Scrabble.
You wouldn't.
Definitely would.
I promise you. I promise you would not.
All right, well, we'll come back to this. Pasha! Oh, he's trying to deny ENVYUS here, and they are definitely in some trouble. They will trade him after 2 kills, but that is scary if they want to have this untarnished round, or untarnished half, rather. That could definitely send them spiraling out of control, and it looks like that could be the case. James, no! It's the last hurdle! You can't fall down.
1 versus 2. It's possible. He's got grenades. Peeking early. Running through as Happy does. Doesn't like to walk around when it's when he's in a clutch situation. 14-1 Virtus Pro. Save the blushes. Save the internet tweets, at least. But I'm not going to assume they lose. They will lose until they lose. If they are to lose.
What's the regular tweet?
14-1.
What's the difference between a tweet and an internet tweet?
Well, I mean, if they lose 16-0, right, then you're going to get the plebeians on the internet tweeting them abuse. If they lose 16-1, there will be less abuse.
Okay.
There will be less abuse. Ultimately, it's inconsequential in the grand scheme of things, but we're not talking about reasonable people here.
Well, it's the pistol round, so VP, they are going to be charging up top mid, it seems, or at least they were threatening to do so, but now they double back. XMS will find 1. Scream there is going to be with assistance too. There's a player on the bomb side, so they might just like, run in willy-nilly now thinking that it's clear, but Sixer is on the sites. That said, they're double backing again. Snacks appearing from behind the staircase. And he will now allow his team passage onto A, but look, who is this? It's Happy James. He's coming in from the back. Oh no, that was anticlimactic.
Yeah, but he's made it easier. There are players in the red, and Bali is going to get finished off by Sixer. Taz on the site now. Snacks needs to deliver here because Taz is maybe 1 bullet away from death. Or I think 1 USP bullet might do like 17. Anyway, we'll soon find out if Happy manages to land just that 1 shot. He can't do it. Stereo frags coming in from Taz alone, killing both players somehow. So there we go. VP have a chance. The window is open. VP have won 3 of the 4 pistols versus Envy today. Can we just acknowledge that?
Okay. Acknowledged.
Bearing in mind how close the score was on the previous map.
True.
VP having won both pistols, yes, they got reset, but winning both pistols has its own expectation. Here we are.
The massive CZs here. So ENVYUS were good at, as you mentioned, resetting VP previously. So they must be cautious. They must be careful. They must exhibit care.
Are you a fan of the rapper Exhibit?
Oh yeah, he's got some good tracks, I guess.
Yeah, he's got some nice tracks.
Yeah, he's done some good work.
Mr. X to the Z Exhibit. It's X to the Z.
Yeah.
I want the UK version.
X, go on,
give me
James.
UK album. I want X to the Z. So Snacks is in an interesting position. Scream being very careful if it's CZ, but he only has so much to offer. That's a lovely spray down. That's satisfying.
Yeah, I thought he would only get 2, but he got all 3. Trio of kills for Taz. ENVYUS though, they are now on the eco, so it's a matter of time. And the thing is that you look at this scoreline and you're like, there's no way back in. But it's Counter-Strike. There's always a way back in if we've learned anything. And ENVYUS did show on the previous map that they had a blindingly good CT side, and then their T side was something that let them down. And we had people, we were saying, who were we calling a new lineup? Was it FaZe or was it...
FaZe.
Yes. Yeah, so we were saying, like, with some team, like, oh, this is a new lineup. and someone was like, oh, they've played all these games, they're not in a new lineup, they've been together for 1 month. And it's like, this game, every single half that you play, CT or T-Side on each map, is like you have to, it's just its own beast. It's its own thing that has to be trained and prepared for. There's just so much work to be done. The month is very early days. So curious to see what VP will be able to accomplish against ENVYUS here, whether ENVYUS will have a weaker CT than their T-Side.
That's a good start. Was that one shot?
I'm not sure. Ooh, that was, I could see it. I could see it happening, the double there. I could see it.
1 minute left. The CTs are rotating from both directions. EO moving back, needs to be careful, needs to play the corner with that Mac 10 as Snacks is doing, but Snacks is being baited. Will he take the bait? Ooh, he's still got 13 bullets, but 6 of 8 feel like he's lower. But he's still got some bullets in the magazine. That won't help him. Taz clean up now with the AK. Nice stuff from Taz. Another round in the bag for Virtus Pro. How far can they go, Dan?
I don't know. I don't know. Happy's going to buy an MP9, though. That's curious. He wants full utility, I imagine. That could be the only reason for the MP9 purchase. And his teammates will be better equipped in that sense as far as the main weapon is concerned. Now, where will Happy go? Is he just going to push apps or will he play defensively? I'm really curious as to what he's going to be up to here. Yesterday we saw some disjointed plays in the apps, so whatever he does, I hope he does it with his team. It looks like he will just play defensively.
I was going to say, if he was playing off the corner of the balcony, he would have a fast fire rate with the MP9, so it's viable. But he's looking towards short, which is less viable because MP9 and damage fall off. But oh no, okay. Sorry, I misread the radar. He is just waiting for that super close quarters environment. So RPK will be the bait in this situation, and then Happy will clean up as necessary. This is a really interesting setup, and it might be very, well, it will cost VP personnel, or it should cost them personnel, to identify this. And by the time they do, it may be too late. So let's see how this plays out.
Sixers having a good day so far. Is this a moment to test him? Or rather, sorry, not to trust him. There is a bunch of players oncoming. Taz takes him down. It can be really sad sometimes when you have the M4A1S just because of that rate of fire. It can just really sink you sometimes. That DPS is just not there in comparison to the M4 in certain spots. But ENVYUS do manage to slow down VP. There's 35 seconds to go, and they need to get onto this bomb site.
Here come the grenades, but they'll hear them bouncing around, so they can try to avoid the flashbangs. Happy gets taken down because RPK has to go wide, so the bait setup does not work, but it's still a 2 versus 2. Another but. The CTs are far away. XMS only just now rotating from the B bomb site, coming up mid. Scream's got to wait around that long area. The wide peak, the crouch as well. Snacks gets taken down. But where is Pasha? On the site, how does he avoid getting traded in this situation? Both Envy players coming from Arch. Pasha, here's them moving. There's Scream taken down. Spots XMS as well. Close quarters, awkward. XMS at the advantage with the M4, and he makes it work. 15 rounds for Envy.
I really like that peak from Scream. Like the wide peak and then the crouch. Because timing those wide peaks can be quite difficult because obviously you want to fire as soon as possible. But you can see that the peak was just so wide that it sort of created some misses, let's say, of the defending players. So that's really nice. And those are small details, understanding how to peak certain angles, because obviously, you know, it depends on your range as well. Because if you're at really, really long ranges, the wide peak is not going to matter as much as if you're at some of the closer ranges. But then there's other considerations too. So something to think about when you're watching these demos of these professional players at work. Quick apps presence from VP in this instance, but ENVYUS playing 2-round quad and 1 on the side. So ENVYUS should be okay against the balcony play. VP not touching Banana really just yet. Still just no effort on Banana from VP. ENVYUS have no players there to see that though.
VP waiting for the smokes to go. Old Inferno, you'd have CTs would fairly often be playing that close, long position just around the corner, which isn't as prevalent as it used to be. as it once was, or not used in the same way. Ooh, timing. Oh my. Timing. Sixer may have just died there had he been a second later. So Snack spotted lurking on his own. There's no trade frag, no one peeking. That's information for Envy, but are they wise enough to realize that and rotate? It seems Six is on the way, but XMSC spotted Blaze as well, taking Pasha down for absolutely free. Scream running distraction from the high ground as well, and the bomb's fallen into the smoke. Scream's got to reload with his teammates there. There's a rotation now for a third man towards CT. Spawn, but the bomb's been picked up and taken down again by none other than Scream. Barley, 1 versus 3, 14 seconds to plant the bomb. There's surely no way he can do this. He can't. They won't allow it. Scream walking through the smoke, 16-4. Envy with a massive scoreline on Inferno.